This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. Hi, I'm Mark Alyn. During the next 2 hours, we're going to talk about everything from male health to plant-based diets and how they're better for you than meat-based diets. All that and much more. We'll even have, as we wrap up our show today, kind of a bullpen session with some old radio guys that are sitting around here in the studio today watching us. The insane Daryl Wayne, of course, is always here. Hello, Daryl.
I think we're all turning into Andy Rooney, but that's a whole different story.
We are starting to look like Andy Rooney. We have Ken Jeffries here as well, and Kevin Stern, our Facebook guru and associate producer. All right, we go to Beverly Hills, California, and we have had Dr. Dudley-Danoff on our show before several times, and we're trying to convince him to come on a regular basis, but we'll be talking about that and try to bring him back in early 2016. Can't believe it. Dr. Dudley just came back from a wonderful trip to Africa and Dubai. But now we are going to talk not about the travel and the wine. We're going to talk about 5 things for men to do with or without their doctors and maybe even without their wives or spouses in the new year. Dr. Danoff, welcome back to Late Night Health.
Pleasure, Mark. Thank you for having me.
Let's talk about some of these things that we have to do. First of all, you are a urologist. My understanding is that urology is actually more precision, surgically speaking, than heart surgery, because with heart surgeons, they have a bigger vessel to work with. You have smaller vessels to work with.
Yeah, it is. Well, it is a very exacting field, and it is a very vital part of a male's anatomy and a part of his psyche. So,
absolutely. Do you also work with women?
We do. I mean, women have kidneys. Women get kidney cancers. They get urinary tract infections. They have urinary incontinence. They have bladder cancers. So we definitely work with women.
By the way, Dr. Danoff is a graduate of Princeton and Yale University Medical School. He's taught at UCLA School of Medicine for more than 25 years and is the founder and president of the prestigious Cedars-Sinai Tower Urology Medical Group in L.A. I'm just curious. You have a lot of friends.
I do.
Because you're a very social guy, okay? Do you personally examine friends and give them do they mind?
No, not at all. I think as long as you put it in perspective, I always try to keep it light. I said, this is between the two of us. Don't worry, I'm not going to tell anybody at dinner what I'm doing to you now or on the golf course. So,
but then you go to lunch. But then you go to lunch with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like two lawyers. They're killing each other in a court of law, calling each other the worst possible names, and then at 5 o'clock, they go to the bar and the other one is buying him a drink.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's part of what we do. I mean, you have to separate yourself. I mean, it would be like a male gynecologist, for example. You can't get involved or emotional examining, women all day, even though, at night and when the lights are down and after a glass of wine, you become very romantic. So you have to be a little bit impersonal, but you still have to be a good doctor.
But at the same time, bedside manner, so to speak, matters a lot.
Yeah, it does. It's very interesting. My wife will often say to me, "You didn't tell me that Charlie, was in your office and had this or had that, and I met his wife, and it was very embarrassing, like I didn't care." I said, I can't tell you patients that I see, even they're friends, and we have personal relationships. That's just off the board.
I have to mention that I have interviewed a dozen times Dr. Danoff's wife years ago, Hedva, and she's an Israeli pop singer. She was gorgeous and beautiful. I've seen current pictures. She's still gorgeous and beautiful.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, about 6 weeks television show, she had a great success with a Japanese recording, and has been very popular in Japan. And there she was, the only non-Japanese person of, 24 million people watched the show, a huge band. and she was the diva. So she, after all these years, she's still at it.
She still got it.
Yeah.
Does she speak Japanese? She
sings in Japanese phonetically and without an accent, and speaks stage Japanese. Domo, arigato, good evening, thank you very much. But
much the same.
Doesn't really speak it. No.
The much the same way as I got through my bar mitzvah. In Japanese, because that's how it sounded. All right, let's talk about urology. Most men don't take good care of themselves, do they? They forget.
Well, every man wants to be the hero, catch the pass in the fourth quarter with a minute to go in the Super Bowl to win the game. So men are very macho. I mean, there isn't a woman that would miss her annual breast exam or a pap smear. But a man is very reluctant to go to a doctor and admit there's any frailty or any possibility that he might be less than perfect. So the answer is yes, they do neglect themselves.
What about male doctors? Are they the worst?
They're the worst. They are the worst.
All right, I'm going to set up your annual checkup for you tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't had an annual checkup probably in 4 years.
Uh-oh. You and me both.
Yeah.
But it's important to do it.
Oh, absolutely, and it is a little bit of machismo. I mean, doctors have a little bit of an edge. I mean, because we can self-monitor. I mean, there are a lot of diseases that have no symptoms and require laboratory testing or imaging to detect them. But most doctors have a pretty good sense of their physical being, and if there's something underlying that they think might be wrong. I may not have had a checkup, but I've paid attention to my health and done certain things that I thought were required. But we do tend to be very lax and machismo.
One of the things that people should do, men should do, and as we get ready to enter 2016, oh my, it's hard to say. 2016 is to have vigorous sex.
Absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely. First of all, sex is the best exercise known to man. It's good for your lower body, upper body, cardiovascular fitness, and mental health. I mean, there's nothing like good, clean, vigorous sex. It's the...
Clean?
Well, that's what I say, clean. I mean, unlike professional wrestling, there are no holds, Holds, barred in sex. I mean, as long as you're practicing safe sex.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
What I mean.
And that's better than swimming, then.
Well, swimming's pretty damn good, but it's not quite as satisfying.
Not as
I mean,
much fun.
I personally am a swimmer, and I think it's especially as you get a little bit older, is really one of the perfect forms of exercise. It's low impact, excellent cardiovascular, moves all the muscles, low impact. I think it's great, but it doesn't beat sex.
Got it. And let's talk about diet a little bit, because I think you and I have talked about that in the past. Does diet affect things like erections, the prostate, and overall health? We know it does, but specifically, the sex organs.
Well, look, I think there's no doubt about it, Mark. Healthy foods equal healthy sex. Healthy foods, weight control, very hard to have a satisfactory sex life if you got a belly, you got the Dunlap syndrome, where your belly Dunlap over your belt buckle. So I remember I had a cousin of mine who had a very fat father. If you never saw a porno film with a big fat guy, because if you're fat in your belly, you've got a pre-pubic fat pad, so the penis comes up from under the pubic bone, and if it's got the transverse 3 or 4 inches of blubber, a fat guy looking down doesn't think he's got much, when in fact there's nothing wrong with his organ. So,
but isn't it true that you if you can't look down and see what you got, you're too fat?
Well, absolutely, sure. We sometimes even in urology, and I talk about it in my book, we talk about it as quote the buried penis syndrome, in which the prepubic fat pad is so big that the penis cannot traverse through the fat pad. and when you look down, it appears that the guy doesn't have a penis. So we see that a lot.
I neglected to say that Dr. Danoff's book is The Ultimate Guide to Male Sexual Health. The Ultimate Guide to Male Sexual Health, and we have a picture of the book on our website. So be sure to go to latenighthealth.com. Look under Dr. Dudley under the guest tabs, and you'll be able to see more about the book. The Ultimate Guide to Male Sexual Health.
Well, it's a medically accurate book. It's a little tongue-in-cheek. It's very funny. It's very insightful and very, very entertaining. And I was having lunch over at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, where my offices are today, and somebody said, "Oh, they put your book in the window of the bookshop." So I walked over because it's like,
of course, you got to do that.
And there, my book was right next to the book featuring the Pope. So I said, wow.
You've made it. Dr. Danoff has made it with the Pope.
There you have male sexual health and the Pope on the same shelf.
I love it. We're going to take some time out and do some business. I'm Mark Alyn. Join us at latenighthealth.com, latenighthealth.com. And also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/latenighthealth. Lots of information on both sites. We encourage you to join us there. All right, Dr. Danoff and I will return as Late Night Health goes forward.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Alyn. The show continues in a moment.
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now.
800-419-2201. 800-419-2201. 800-419-2201. That's 800-419-2201.
This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
Have you ever needed a flashlight and reached into a drawer to find your flashlight is dead, and then go to put in new batteries only to find the insides are all corroded? Now Hybrid Light has created a solar-powered flashlight that requires no batteries and also charges your cell phone. Hybrid lights are durable, waterproof, and hold a charge in the dark for up to 7 years, and perfect for any emergency or everyday use. Now you can get your own Hybrid Light today for only $34.95, and if you mention health, you'll receive a Hybrid Light headlamp absolutely free. That's our durable Hybrid Light with a free headlamp for only $34.95. A value of $60, only $34.95. Call us today at 800-297-8109. That's 800-297-8109 to get this special Hybrid Light offer today. 800-297-8109, 800-297-8109. In the promo code box, type in HEALTH. 800-297-8109.